Hello, everyone, and welcome to ChuggieBets. This is our college football podcast. I'm Andy, that's Al, that's Danny, and that's Matt. Before we get to football, let's chug some beers.
Cheers. Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
Yummy.
Excellent day. All right, so last week, not the best week we've ever had, but that's all right. We are still crushing it for the season. You're bound to have bad weeks. If one bad week is going to put you off the hobby, probably not the right hobby for you because it happens to the best of us. Matt, however, did win his chuggy bet. So, Matt, you're going to have a drink to hand out this evening.
Excellent.
And I will let you kick it off as we go around the horn talking about what we learned this week.
All right, Miami guys, cover your ears. Sometimes you can get more by losing something. Oregon lost their coach, right? He goes across the country and starts to his home program, and I understand everything Mario Cristobal did. He got to go home. This Oregon team is kicking ass. Dan Lanning comes in. They take a Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix has been one of those things people have joked about. You're like, remember that one game Bo Nix had? He's like, oh, yeah, that was a good game Bo Nix had. And he's playing a lot better. So it's an interesting situation where you could lose that coach, the highly sought-after coach. That team's fucking rolling. So sometimes losing something could actually be a benefit. That's what I learned.
Yeah. So you're in favor of firing Mario Cristobal then?
Not at all. I think no. Look, it takes a long time to build back a program, right? But my problem with Mario Cristobal, he's so not malleable. He has one way of doing things, and if it doesn't fit that way, it's like, well, we're going to have to get the right players. It's like, you have players. Miami has talent. The defensive line is awesome.
I don't think I don't know what happened. I think they all left, and no one didn't.
No, we got two good guys on our defensive line that are still pretty good. I don't remember their names because I just don't
Nigel
care
Lee
about
Kelly breaks my heart.
If football, that's a good point. But it's 11-11, and you need 20 other good guys.
I feel like DJ Ivy's still playing in our secondary. I feel like he's been on our team for 7 years.
Is Eric Redwine still there? I feel like he was there for 11 years too.
Sheldrick?
Redwine, I think, is
he was on the Jags, I think.
Sorry, Redwine is his last name.
Yeah, Redwine, I think, made it to the NFL and was playing on special teams somewhere.
No.
But that's what I learned.
Danny, did you learn anything?
Well, I'm excited for the up and coming Negroni Spagliato. He should be good. That's a red wine joke. Sorry, Andy, Danny, as you were.
I learned that it doesn't matter if you punch a girl in the face on the field on camera for everybody to see. If you're a wide receiver one for Alabama, you still get to play next week. They might put you in counseling, but you're still going to play the next week. So that's the morals we have for college football.
Hey,
here's a dead fish, Al. What did you learn this week?
That's a life or death situation, Danny. Okay, he has every right to defend his person. I learned that the Pac-12, they are still really good at scoring a lot of points. Oregon, UCLA. When that over was 70.5, and it cruised easy. Over, and I think USC is racking up points. So you want some fun football? We talk about going unders, like Big Ten unders, Pac-12 overs. It's like the yin and yang. I love it.
I might file that away for later, Al. Pac-12 overs.
I think I got a Big Ten under for you too. So
perfect.
Ooh.
I would not.
That's what she said.
I would not say that this is something that I learned, but has been reinforced. Clemson is really lame, guys. Like they beat Syracuse at home.
I'll drink to that.
It took a big fourth quarter comeback. I get that, but they are 58-1 in their last 59 home games. You cannot storm the field after beating Syracuse when you're 58-1 in your last 59 home games. Like. It's like they're robots instead of people, and they saw Tennessee do it last week, and they don't understand how Tennessee beating Alabama is very different than them beating Syracuse, and they rushed the field. It was pathetic. I'd be so embarrassed if I was a Clemson fan.
Yeah. That's what you get when you have a stadium full of youth group virgins.
Andy, they were only a 13.5-point favorite. So it was a close game. We never knew what was going to happen. No, man, that's learned from the top down. That's some righteous gemstones leadership from Dabo Sweeney. Driving them all onto the damn field. It's like, come on, dude. He's the lamest guy in college football. He's the worst. The program is the worst. Not because of the players. The players are fine. Just everything else surrounding it is lame.
Yeah. And I want to be clear.
Right into the house with a pickle.
How many times does
I don't want to be the fun police. Like, by all means, if you're Tennessee and you beat Alabama, storm the field. Like, that was awesome. But
yeah, it's like Bama storming the field for beating App State. Like, what are you doing? Also, how many times does DJ Uyunglele have to get bailed out by a backup quarterback before he loses his job?
It's a good question. Yeah, that Klubnik guy is good. He's good. He's gonna be a star. And DJ doesn't have it. Look, he throws so close to the line of scrimmage all the time. The offense is kind of constipated. They've been good enough, right? Because he's been efficient. They keep going like, well, he's had 15 touchdowns and 1 pick going in this game. I'm like, he's thrown the ball like 4 yards past the line of scrimmage every pass. No wonder he has no picks, right? But it's just awful to watch. Klubnik's a lot better.
More like DJ. Ooh, he's ugly, I say.
Their offenses look like one of those.
Drink.
I forget which school it was. It was a Big 12 school. They ran nothing but wide receiver screens, basically. For it wasn't Texas Tech, but it was one of those Big 12 schools. It was just all wide receiver screens, nothing else. Maybe Oklahoma State.
That's what Oklahoma State used to do until they got like Justin Blackman. And then
exactly. It was before that. They were basically out there it was all passing, all short passes with maybe Brandon Whedon, but before he got a good receiver, when he was only like 26.
He was a very youthful man.
All right, let's keep things rolling here because before we get to our picks for the week, we actually do want to talk a little bit about the Heisman. And let's go in reverse order. So, Al, why don't you kick us off with any thoughts for the Heisman?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think the front runner right now is C.J. Stroud. He would not get my vote. I feel like Ohio State is just an autopilot. They haven't played anybody. The Big Ten, not a good year for the Big Ten. For me, I think it's a toss-up between Caleb Williams and Hendon Hooker, and I really want to see Hendon Hooker win it. He is, if I'm placing a bet, I'm following my heart and I'm following the odds, and I'm putting it on Hendon Hooker. They already knocked off their stiffest opponent. I think they still have Georgia on the schedule, but even with a loss to Georgia, if they can win the SEC, he'll still be right up there. But Caleb Williams looks really good for USC too. I just don't think they're going to win enough to keep him in the conversation.
So Hendon Hooker, I'm seeing as high as plus 200. Anybody seeing higher than that?
I thought I saw 220. I thought I saw 220, but it could have just have been 200. He was right there with one of the other guys. So,
see, for me, if I'm betting a long shot like a Heisman, I want better odds than that. Like,
exactly.
Give me something.
I don't see value on any of the guys I think can win. That's my point. I don't see value on any of the guys I think can win, so I'm not placing any of these bets.
It goes to the records, right? Like, there's some players I think are tremendous players, but unfortunately, like Sam Hartman, we talk about on this show a lot. He's not going to get there. He just doesn't have enough wins. The team's not good enough necessarily to get to that Heisman level. I like Hendon Hooker. I like Caleb Williams also. Those are the two I like the most. C.J. Stroud, Ohio State's awesome. They are a totally different level. They're the best team in the country, and I don't think it's particularly close right now. I think they're easily the number one team in the country. But I don't want to watch their games because they're not interesting. Tennessee games are fun to watch. USC games are fun to watch.
Do you think USC is going to continue it with enough success for Caleb Williams to stay in consideration?
No, I think they got a loss or two coming. I don't know. I don't think it's this weekend, but I could be playing past results. I just don't. Their defense isn't good enough to maintain in some of these close games. I mean, you saw it against Utah. Granted, it was a 1-point game in Salt Lake City, one of the hardest places to play in the Pac-12, but they always have one of those games that are let-ups. Let me look at USC.
He's probably the best value there, right? If you think USC is going to make it to the playoff, then at 14-1, he's probably the best value there. I don't see Hendon Hooker at plus 200. That's not good enough. That's not a good enough value. CJ Stroud at even money, not good enough value. Bryce Young, I don't think they're going to give it to him again. 22-1, it's decent value because Alabama's going to be in it, and his numbers have been good, but I just don't think they're going to give it to him again. Stetson Bennett and Bo Nix. Those are just names that people know. That's the only reason that they have decent odds, because people are betting on it, but they're not going to win it. So it doesn't matter how long those odds get. After that, I mean, I'd like to give it to Sam Hartman, but they're just not going to have the kind of excess you have to get for him to win a Heisman. He's awesome, but he's just not going to have the
Is Max Duggan on the board?
Max Duggan is on the board at 60-1.
Let's go. The Duggan train. Look, man, I love TCU. I love Sonny Dykes from his time at Cal. He runs that air raid, bear raid, whatever the hell they call it. He makes for fun football. And Max Duggan is the difference between that team being 7-0 and 4-3. He makes just enough big plays to make them really awesome. They may not cover every spread, but they're a great watch. I'd like the Max Duggan play a lot. That seems like long-ass odds, and I don't think he'll win it.
Yeah.
And I think TCU has a couple losses coming, but if you're going to throw some money into some value.
A lot of takes these bets as low as $1. You could throw $1 on them just to see if you could hit the 60-1.
Yeah.
I think, you see a guy like Blake Corum on this list, and I'm like, there's not a chance in hell he's ever winning the Heisman this year. And I think he's like 14-1 or something. So I'd rather put money on like a Max Duggan long shot, or like Jahmyr Gibbs running back for Bama, over someone like Blake Corum, where Michigan's one, probably not even going to stay in title contention all season, and two, like they're like average running back. No.
So if Gibbs stays healthy at 40-1, he'll probably be in on the invite list, because his numbers will be really high at the end of the year.
You need Young to get hurt again or something for him to really have a shot.
I just don't think he's the best running back in the country, so I don't think that they'll give him the Heisman. There's better running backs out there.
He's no Chase Brown. I agree.
One more thing before we.
What's the guy from Pitt's name? I can't say it ever, but he's awesome.
Monday.
Adewale Ogunleye?
Adewale Ogunleye, yeah.
One more thing, guys, I want to talk about before we go to the picks. We have to do this recording on Monday next week. Do you know why?
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween, and
we're all gonna wear costumes.
Tuesday, when Tuesdays hit in November, you know what that means, right, boys?
Maction,
baby. We got Maction next week, so we'll have to make sure we get it out. We have to get the Tuesday bets. Be a degenerate, really ignore your family for the majority of the week, right? Not just the weekends anymore. You can start ignoring them during the middle of the week too.
Love it.
Beautiful. And just to wrap up the Heisman conversation, I like to consider myself a plus EV better on college football and pro football. This is not an EV bet at all, but I am just so thrilled that there's an Illini that's even listed on the Heisman odds. Chase Brown, he actually leads the country in rushing yards, which is just amazing. So it's 50-1. I'm personally going to put $2 on it just because it makes it fun. And there is a path. It's not unheard of or not impossible that the Illini will be the Big Ten West representative in the championship game, the Big Ten championship game. They'll face Ohio State. If the bus is late and they have to roll out the JV squad, Illinois could win that, and then we have a chance. But anyway, that's way too much about the Illini. We should move on. But
not true. Illini's defense is awesome. There's a shot. If you guys get to that game, anything can happen if you hold them to 6 points, which is basically what you guys have been doing for everybody all season. I don't know if you could do that to CJ Stroud, but I
was really interested in the Iowa-Ohio State game this past weekend because I told myself if Iowa can hang with them or beat them, then maybe Illinois would have a chance. And they lost by 45. So I'm pretty sure that's how it would go when Illinois plays Ohio State. But you never know. We went into the horseshoe and ruined their season a couple of times in the past decade or so. So you never know.
What question? Who else do you have to play from the East? Do you have to play Penn State? Do you have to play Michigan?
We do play Michigan. Okay. We do not play Penn State. Other than Michigan, it's cake. It's Nebraska. It's Michigan State. It's Northwestern. And then Michigan.
It's all the teams Ohio State's already played.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless we implode, we should be in the Big Ten championship game.
All right. Let's go Illini.
Yeah.
Let's get a Big Ten West title.
To lose by 60.
I know, man. Let's get it.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Let's get into the picks. I'm actually going to kick things off on Thursday evening. We've got Louisiana going into Southern Miss at 7:30 Thursday evening. These teams are both 4-3, but based on preseason expectations, Louisiana has to feel like they're underperformed, and Southern Miss has to feel like they're just flying high. Both these teams are also bringing 2-game win streaks, but I believe Louisiana is the one that extends that win streak to 3 games. They're the more talented team, and even though they've been disappointing this year, I think we see that talent flash on the field this week. So I'm laying the points with the Raging Cajuns. It was -1 when I took it, which is my only game where I'm laying points. Spoiler alert. This week, it's actually up to +1, so you don't even have to lay points. You can take the +1.
Ooh.
But... Anybody have thoughts on that game?
No.
No.
Is that there's a better game going on at the same time?
Southern Miss stinks. They lost to Miami, who's one of the worst teams in the country. So
there you go.
That's that reverse homerism right there.
I don't know. You watch our game, 8 turnovers. Come on.
Yeah, but that's a fluke. You're not gonna have 8 turnovers again.
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks since.
How do you know?
Al, you want to take us to the other 7:30 Thursday night game?
Yeah, it's who is it? Virginia Tech versus NC State. So listen, there's no way I'd ever take the points with Virginia Tech here with a healthy Devin Leary at NC State. But he's done for the season, so he's not playing. And their backup quarterback is not very good. So Vatek's coming off a bye here. Their backup quarterback at NC State, they managed 9 points last week against Syracuse. He was 18 of 30 passing for 160 yards. That is just no bueno, right? So I think they're going to try and lean heavy on the run game. And Virginia Tech's defense, which is not very good, is actually ranked 51st against the run. So give me the 14 points that Virginia Tech's getting, and we'll hope that they keep it within there.
Yeah, I'm on this play also. Basically, I thought NC State was going to be one of the better teams in the ACC this year when it's their quarterback that went down. I just think that kind of screwed them. I also think that they were less impressive even before that than I thought they were going to be. I thought they would beat Clemson. They lost by 10. I thought that they would, or they did beat FSU, but I thought that game, I thought they would cover that game, and they did not. And then just putting up 9 against Syracuse. I mean, I guess Syracuse might be good. Maybe they're good.
But yeah, when you're supposed to have one of the best offenses in the country, I mean, there's a clear.
I mean, they only beat UConn by 31. So I just think that was pretty unimpressive. NC State's been unimpressive. ACC's weird. Virginia Tech might win this game because the ACC's weird. So I'm going to take the 2 touchdowns.
This game kind of stinks like an under too. NC State, for what they've been lacking on offense, their defense is really good. That front 6, they run that 3-3-5. Very odd, but their linebackers, they're always rushing 4 or 5, and they're always in weird gaps because they come from the linebacker position. They've got a great linebacking core. With that being said, I don't think NC State's going to score with Jack Chambers. So it sounds like an attorney, right? You got Jack Chambers, attorney at law, and I don't think Virginia Tech's going to score. It may be worthwhile looking at a low under here.
You're going to see a trend here on a bunch of my picks this week with road dogs in conference games with a high spread and low totals. So this one, I think the total's right around 40, and I'm getting 2 touchdowns. Road dog, conference game, anything can happen. I'm taking the 2 touchdowns.
So we were talking last week about some possible off-season content of just listing quarterback names and saying the first thing that comes to your mind that's not football related. I think Jack Chambers sounds like the main character in the book that your dad brings to your beach vacation.
Oh, he does.
I was going to say like a Michael Crichton book.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Jack Chambers sounds like something that you put your 13-year-old teen boy in to like get him out of the house. Go hang out. Go spend an hour in the Jack Chamber.
All right, let's go to the late game on Thursday.
Andy, listen, man. This is the kind of shit you get when you bring on word association. Okay?
I love it. All right, Matt. I think you and Al are on opposite sides of this one, but why didn't you kick us off?
Yeah. So Washington State has been okay all year. They play pretty competitively at home. I think the crowd will be into it enough. I do think Utah's a better team. The reason I took Washington State is because a hook exists. They kept Oregon within their spread at home. They've played really well at home all year long. They're not the better team here. I don't want to get twisted, but I do think this will end up being a one-score game. So I'm going to take Washington State plus 7.5.
Yeah, you mentioned that hook, and it's scaring you on this one. For me, it's not an issue. I don't care. I've faded Utah a couple times this year, and it's worked out well for me. But let me hit you with a couple numbers here. So both Utah and Washington State have played USC and Oregon State in the last 3 weeks. Both defenses have given up 58 and 54 points respectively. But you want to know what their offenses did against those teams? Washington State mustered 24 points against those two teams combined. That's 12 per game. And Utah put up 85. So they're still scoring 40-plus points against those teams where Washington State could barely manage to get a couple TDs. So, yeah, lay the points with the Utes. And, yeah, that seems like easy money to me. But whenever I say that, it usually goes sideways. But
Al, did you consider that Washington State's flag's really cool when you were placing this bet?
No, I did not.
Just saying.
You got to think.
Consider when I'm betting the Cougars. I always consider the flag.
Yeah.
No, I think Washington State's offense has not been great lately, but they play a lot better at home than they do on the road. That's just the logic.
And to
the
your point,
Washington
State hung in there with Oregon too, so they managed to score against them. So but I got to cherry pick stats to make my plays look good.
I don't know if it'll matter, but I see 7.5 and 8 out there right now. So Matt, we can give you
hit me with an 8. Give
just
your boy an 8.
Just in case. The hook on the hook. Danny, why don't you take us into Friday night and tell us what you got in East Carolina BYU?
Yeah, so BYU is they're bad. They lost that Notre Dame game, and Notre Dame's kind of having a down year. Then they kind of got their manhandled by Arkansas, which you'd expect from an SEC team, but then they got rolled by Liberty. So they're having a really down year. And East Carolina's coming off of back-to-back wins against UCF and Memphis, who are usually the stronger teams in that conference. So I think I might be buying high on ECU and selling low on BYU here, but I just think ECU should be favored here. So I'm going to take the 3 points. I'm probably going to bet them on the money line instead, but I already bet them on the +3, and I'm probably going to bet the money line. It's like plus 115 or something, so I'm probably going to do that. So.
I agree with you, Danny. The only thing scaring me here is the game's in Provo. But I think ECU.
That's just because you don't like East teams going west. I don't think that's going to make as big of a difference in this game because I think ECU is that much better.
No, I agree. I'm with you. I think you take the points. You take the 3, and I think there may be a hook out there somewhere. I saw hooks earlier, but by the time we were recording was +3.
So my +3, I got at -105. I thought it was going to turn, but I didn't want to risk losing the juice on the 105. So I just
I get it. I get it, dude. No, I think ECU is the better team. I think BYU's been a mess. They've had so much of their personnel has been moving in and out all season long with injuries and other things that are going on with BYU. So I think ECU is the better team. The travel is a little concerning, but I think it's well worth the risk to lay the 3. Take the 3. Excuse me.
Take the 3.
So I'm on this game also, but I'm on the over because I think Danny's statement that BYU is bad is only half true. I think BYU is bad on the road, and I think they're a completely different team at home. Matt kind of alluded to this. On the road, they are 1-3, and they're averaging 26 points a game. At home, they're 3-1, and they're averaging more than 34 points a game. That's a huge difference. So I think they'll put up some points, and I also think that Holt Nailers and the ECU offense will put up points. I don't know who ends up coming up out on top, which is why I'm not taking the spread. But I think that these two teams can combine to get to 60.5 points. It's gone up since then.
Just to disagree with you a little there, because their road games include that Liberty loss where they scored 14 points, and their home games include Utah State and Wyoming where they put up 38. So like you're kind of cherry picking bad teams, and
no, those are the home road splits. I didn't say like
just cherry picking bad teams they played at home and played well against at home, and throwing out the bad teams that they got their asses kicked by on the road. So anyway.
if we have anyone who's listened to all our podcasts, they may remember that I've been on ECU, or I've mentioned them at least a couple times on the podcast here, as in potential upset spots. But I don't like this. I don't like it this week. I think just like what Andy just said. I think what both Matt and Andy said, going out west is a different thing than if they're at home for this one. So I'm not sure ECU travels well, and I think it's much more likely that BYU runs away with this one than it is that ECU does, and so there's not really any value on the spread for me.
I mean, you have a point. They only scored 9 points when they went to Tulsa, so maybe they don't go west very well. But I think coming off of these 2 big wins, they're just those are big wins in that conference. So.
BYU's reshuffling the depth as far as personnel. We're really not taking that for granted. Their wide receivers have been moving in and out as far as injured all year. Don't necessarily know who's going to be playing quarterback for them this week. I think with all those question marks, ECU's the safer bet here.
I think the special teams could be a factor in that one. I wonder if there's a prop for a defensive or special teams score in that game. I would love to consider that if that's something you can find.
All right, gentlemen. Our podcast has been going approximately 26 minutes, and we have not reached the Saturday games yet. Let's move on to Saturday. Saturday at noon, I think our first play is in Oklahoma at Iowa State. Al, what do you got for us there?
Yeah, so I'm not actually, but just to touch base on this game since it's a pretty significant one. I really wanted to take Iowa State, but the line opened at +6.5 for them, and it's already down to +1 at some books. So the value's gone there. The other thought I had is looking at the total, because I don't know how Oklahoma's going to score on a good Iowa State defense. But that number is kind of moving the wrong way. So you can get it. It's 56 right now, but I'm not going to play it. I think I'm just going to sit this one out. But
it's the best of the noon games. I'm sorry, it's the second best of the noon games from what I can tell.
No, it's not even second. But.
What's the spread on that? Is it like a pick'em right now, or is it like a 1?
Like
+1, +1.5.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a ball game. That the crowd in Ames, they get their boys fired up, so it'll be interesting. There's definitely a home field advantage to playing in Iowa State. Granted, Oklahoma has all the legacy, but that ain't your dad's Oklahoma over there.
Oklahoma should not be favored in that one.
Not to delay this too much, Meadow, give us 10 seconds on whether you're going to cover against Georgia Tech.
I do. So if Jeff Sims is not playing quarterback this week, I think we cover. If Jeff Sims is playing quarterback, he does come back. I think I think Florida State's going to handle the business. But I
considered this as part of my road dogs, low total game with getting a lot of points. But
it started at 21. It's moved up to 24. Florida State's the better team. That Georgia Tech team, they were playing really well under new coaching, but that when Sims went down, them losing to Virginia is a catastrophe. There's no reason the Virginia team is real bad. They should, if a good team, if they were actually improving, they would have handled business. Sims got hurt, right? Jeff Sims is a good quarterback. So
I was thinking the same thing, Danny. Was potentially taking the points with Georgia Tech, but it's Georgia Tech.
I decided against it. Yeah, I decided against it. I just don't think. I think Florida State might end up rolling. So, Al, you got to play on the Akron, Miami, Ohio game. Other Miami, the better Miami.
Yeah. So Matt mentioned Maction. The official kickoff to Maction starts this next week, but before we get there, I'm taking a couple of MAC home dogs. Akron +8.5 and Eastern Michigan +7. I think crazy things happen in the MAC, and home field advantage matters. And at the end of the day, you shake out that conference, and the top teams are not that different from the bottom teams, and you're getting a touchdown or more in each of these. So let's see something crazy happen.
From the MAC. There was a pro quarterback from Toledo that came to Miami and threw for 400 yards on us and almost beat us down at the Rock. Mm-hmm. And I still fall in love with Toledo and still bet him because I like to fall in love with schools. So I still bet Toledo all the time. I won't bet them in this game, but that's probably going to be some of my action bets on Toledo.
Like Dan Graziano or something.
I don't know. I don't remember his name at all.
Bruce Gradkowski.
Could have been it. I don't know.
He played for the Bucks.
All right.
But it's definitely somebody who played for Toledo, and he was awesome.
Nice. So moving on to what I think is probably the biggest game of the noon slate, we have ranked teams. Ohio State going into Penn State. I have a play on this. Ohio State is definitely the better team here. I expect them to win, but this game is Penn State's entire season. They absolutely have to win this game to have any shot at the Big Ten East. The game is in Happy Valley. I haven't looked, and I refuse to look, but I'm assuming it's going to be the whiteout. And so I expect Penn State to really get up for this game. I don't think it'll be enough for them to win, but I'm hoping it'll be enough for them to cover a big number. It's 15.5. It does make me nervous that Penn State has already played a top 5 team this year when they played Michigan and they got blown out. But that was in Ann Arbor, and this is in Happy Valley. So I think with what I'm presuming is the whiteout, they'll get up for it and cover the spread.
Also, a hot take. I think Michigan's better than Ohio State.
That is a hot take, but I like it. Spicy.
Yeah, Andy, I was considering that, and then I was like, I could just see this one being close before Ohio State puts their foot on their throats and just like runs away with it. And so that kind of looking at the first half, and there's not a line out there yet, but with the total spread being up to 15.5, if this first half number gets to 7.5 or better, I will take that first half line, Penn State plus 7.5 or better if it is available.
I like that play.
This next one is, I think, the second best game of the noon slate. TCU, West Virginia.
Yeah. Quick question: can it be a whiteout if it's at noon? This shit doesn't hit the same. It has to be at night, and you have to see like all the white shirts against the black backdrop.
I bet the like ESPN cameramen are so pissed because they're gonna do all this like white focusing in the noonday sun.
Like I said,
Miami does a teal out every week. Every week, it's all teal in the stadium.
It is. God bless them. They fill up the stands with teal.
I refuse to do any research on this. It would just be a simple Google search, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just assuming if you're Penn State and Ohio State's coming to town, like you have to white out, right? Like,
I would think so.
Yeah.
Let's go to Morgantown. What Danny was saying, TCU going into West Virginia. Al, what's your play, buddy?
Yeah, laying 7 with the Horned Frogs. West Virginia is just not very good, and as we've seen, TCU has been through the meat of their Big 12 schedule and handled it with aplomb. So even though this one's in Morgantown, it doesn't should be as close as this line for that. So I could look silly because it seems like it's moving the other way.
It's definitely one I'm looking for at live betting. If West Virginia gets out to an early lead, I will be betting TCU heavily. The other thing I'm going to be looking for is the TCU team over, because I think West Virginia's defense is the worst part of their team, and I think if they're going to win this game, it's going to be high scoring.
I think if you look at the odds, it looks like this one might move to 6.5, which I don't know if it will or not, but if it looks like it might, I'd probably wait, but I don't know.
I think it's probably moving the other way if I had to guess. I think people are going to be on your side. I think this is going to -7.5, -8. So I would lock it in now if that's the side you like. I could be wrong. It's happened once before.
No, I agree. I think it's going to move. I think it's going to move towards TCU. It's also the second highest total of the week. Just to throw that out there. It's in the 70s.
What is it?
I think it's in this, or it opened in the 70s and it dropped just below, so it's right around. A very nice number.
69.5.
Nice.
All right, let's keep it moving. The last game of the noon slate that we're going to talk about is Notre Dame going into Syracuse. Even with their loss,
also better than Oklahoma, Iowa State, by the way.
Even with their loss to Clemson last week, Syracuse is still having an absolute dream season at 6-1. It's like best case scenario for them. They also had every opportunity to beat Clemson last week until their defense just couldn't hold a lead in the fourth quarter. If they score at all in the second half, they win that game. And then Notre Dame has been up and down all year, but I do think they're the more talented team. We were talking before we came on air, and the way Al put it is Notre Dame gets 5 stars and Syracuse gets 3 stars. And I think that that's exactly going to be the difference maker in this game. I just hope that Marcus Freeman doesn't forget to go to confession and the offense shows up. If that happens, I think that probably the wrong team is favored here, and Notre Dame should win easily. Matt, I think you probably had some thoughts on this one to tell me why I'm wrong, right?
I mean, I don't think the line makes any sense. If you're saying these two teams playing in a neutral site that they're even, I think that's egregiously wrong. I don't know why anyone's high on Notre Dame. Their defense is fine. That offense sucks. Syracuse's offense is good. I know it's a 3-man show between the running back, who's escaping my mind, Schrader, and Aronde Gadsden, but they're good at that 3-man show, and Dino Babers is really coaching this game. The line is confusing me more than anything, where I'm not going to take the action here. And it seems like one of those things where the odds makers know more than I do. But I think Syracuse, just looking at this game, I think they'll win. So I think.
Oh, no, Notre Dame's going to buy their way through this game. They're going to get every call. Notre Dame's winning this game because Notre Dame makes money, and it makes money for the NCAA and everything. So I guarantee you they need to have a good record at the end of the year.
The only thing I can think of is Clemson's Syracuse is exhausted from the end result of that game. That was
Notre Dame is winning this game, Matt. Notre Dame is winning this game. I can't believe you're even considering Syracuse.
Listen. If I'm in Syracuse, this is what I'm doing. I'm having maintenance go through the opponent's locker room and extending all of the baseboards out a quarter of an inch. So in the Marcus Freeman catches a pinky toe on there, and ends up using the Lord's name and then all of a sudden strikes him dead on, and Syracuse gets the cover. So short of that, I think you're right. This one.
Nice. Now, if I thought that you two could stick to 10 seconds, I'd ask the alumni for 10 seconds on Miami, Virginia. But no,
Virginia's going to win.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Give us 10 seconds.
Virginia's going to win. I don't need 10 seconds. Virginia's going to win.
Here's mine.
Miami's a lot better than Virginia. The line, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them, and Garcia having to be quarterback is the concern there. I don't.
Who were you worried couldn't stick to 10 seconds, Andy?
I'm just sorry.
No, that's good analysis.
I really wanted to bet this game. I'm really thinking about betting it. I may not put it on here, but I keep betting Miami because I think they can't continue to play this way.
If I had a Chuggie, I would tell you to drink it right now. You absolutely should not bet this game if you're going to bet Miami's side.
I think Cristobal needs to get the boys right before next week's game. And I think if he can't stoke the fire beating this is a bad Virginia team. They stink. They're real bad. You can't get up to that.
You're going to beat us by 4 touchdowns.
Matt, remind me. We talked earlier before we started. What's Miami's record against spread?
Yeah. Okay. So that is a good point. I guess we should bring this up. Miami has not covered a spread all year round. Now, is that going to continue? God, I hope so, because I think it'd be hilarious. But I doubt it. I think there's some spreads that have to be covered.
At least I finally learned my lesson and stopped betting us.
Danny, there are 6 more days before this game happens. Let's not be too hasty.
That's true. Right? That's true. And like a whole tailgate.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is no home game. This is no home game. Never mind. No tailgate.
All right.
But I have to mow the lawn, and there will be beers while I'm mowing the lawn.
Let's talk about some real football here. Charlotte goes to Rice, which I'm pretty sure Charlotte is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm pretty sure Rice is in Texas, but I don't know any more about that. Andy, what's
in Rice, Texas?
Rice is in Houston.
We got a little insider info, do you?
Yeah. No one knows that. This is breaking news here. No one in the college football world knows that Rice is in Houston. Yeah. All right, so this is the weird 2 p.m. window. I like to have a bet here in case my noon window goes south and like those games are already over for me by 2 o'clock, so we can get a little action in before the 3:30 window. I know Charlotte is 1-7 and widely considered to be one of the worst teams in college football, especially after they got blown out by fellow bottom feeder FIU last week. But we're gonna zig when everybody else zags, and we're gonna continue fading Rice. Charlotte has one of the worst defenses in the FBS, but I don't think that Rice has the offensive firepower to do anything about it, right? Like if your defense is bad and the other team like can't run the ball, like who cares? So this is just this is too big of a number to lay with a Rice team that can't do anything. I don't think they're good. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They should not be laying 17 to any FBS team. So I'm taking the points because it's too many points.
I'm pretty sure last week you asked who I would take in whoever Rice played in Rice. And I said, I'm not laying points with Rice, so I'll take the points on whatever game it is. And so, yeah, if I had to take a side, I'd be on the one you're on. But you're going to be in this one alone.
That is fine.
I almost took this one.
On my side or the other side?
Your side, just because road dog, low total, a lot of points. But didn't want to because Charlotte's like really bad. I skipped this one and the next one actually because of the teams that were getting the points. It was just too bad for me to bet them. Even though I did take the worst team probably in college football, but they got like a lot of points. So, Charlotte I skipped. Rutgers I skipped. Rutgers Minnesota game. I saw Matt. You were saying you might make that pick.
Yeah, I'm thinking about laying 14 with Minnesota. I think Rutgers is really, really dreadful. I know they're 4-3, and that's adorable.
I think they're both dreadful. I don't know. Minnesota's not that good.
I don't think Minnesota's that good, but I think they're probably 20 points better than Rutgers. So that was kind of my logic there. I think they have.
That's why I didn't take it. That's why I didn't take it.
And when you're going against a PJ Fleck team, you never want to do it in St. Paul or wherever the hell University of Minnesota is. So I would lean to the 14, but I'm not doing it yet. I'm going through this in my head.
I ended up actually taking the points in the Northwestern Iowa game because Iowa's way better than Northwestern. Like that's not even close. Like they're way better. But like, how many Iowa touchdowns are they going to need to cover the 11? Like, I figured they're going to get 2 safeties, 2 field goals, 10-0, right? So Northwestern's getting 11 points. I'm gonna cover this.
Here's a fun
What
fact.
if Northwestern returns a punt for a touchdown or something? Iowa has good special teams, but anything can happen.
You don't
What if
doubt.
the sky combust? And what if global warming steals the planet from us?
Look, Iowa gives up points sometimes. People show up with 7 on Iowa sometimes. All right, they don't average 0 points given up. If Northwestern,
Devin Chevy, it just
Northwestern beat the juggernaut that is Nebraska the first week of the season. All right, so they can clearly score points. I believe they needed 14 to win that game or something like that.
No, they scored 30 that game. They were a wagon.
Yeah.
What do you think Scott Frost is doing right this minute?
I think he's listening to this podcast right now. He's watching us live on YouTube.
I hope so. Guys, here's some fun fact. In the last 30 years, a game has not opened with a lower total than this game when it opened. I think it was at 31, historically low, right? And we're not talking about like the backwards pass era before people threw the ball forward, running the wing tee and all that stuff. It's up to 37. That's too many points. I would have thought taking the under at 31. 37 is too many points. Where the hell do they think the points are going to come from? It ain't going to be from the Northwestern side. If team total is at, let's say, 10, I'm taking the under on Northwestern because there's no way they're scoring that many points. I was gonna punt. They're gonna manage a short field. They're not playing Ohio State, so they shouldn't throw 11 interceptions this game that all get returned for touchdowns, which was a bummer when you had 15 safeties in your pocket going against them. But under 37. It's the no-brainer. Under 37.
I like it. I like the under 37. I told you, I think this game's ending 10-0. I think this game's ending 10-0 with no touchdowns. And that's how I'm going to cover the 11.
Galaxy brain move where they go, if we set the total historically low, we should call it a lodal. We'll scare people off so we won't lose our asses on the under. And so that's what I think is going on. So enough people jumped on the over when they saw that, and now they're going to be okay when the under easily covers.
So that's our Kirk Ferentz Iowa gas station disgusting hot dog under of the week.
Well, I got another super low under. I got another super low under next. Temple averages like 20 points, and Navy has had plenty of stinkers. So when they're not playing a terrible team like Mass, they score less than 20 points. So I think that the under 40 there is a pretty good number to take.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
the
love
only thing that
unders.
scares me is the option offense against a bad defense. Is that sometimes that's just good. That turns into blowout city. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bet on this one going over either. So
The thing about Navy is turning into blowout city is that they like will just stop. They're like they'll just like sit on the ball, and like the college football play clock is long. It's like sometimes it seems like it's a minute and a half.
yeah,
I know it's like 50 seconds though. The college football play clock's
yeah,
long.
40, I think.
It's 45, but they don't start it right after the play. They like give it a second before they start the play clock. So
yeah,
anyway.
it do be crazy. Man, we're on a lot of unders here. This is going to be under number 3 in a row, and there's another one coming after that. But
you're on the Florida Georgia under? Nice, Al.
Yeah, I'm taking the under in Florida Georgia. That one is shooting the other way. I think it opened at 46. Opened at 46 and a half, which is about where I see this one going. And it's up to 57 still at one.
That's got to be under 57.
And this is my logic here, okay? That total's too high. The Gators are not going to score against this Georgia defense. The Georgia offense also not very good. So you put that together, I think this one makes out something like a 28-31-ish UGA to 13-16, somewhere in that range, Florida. Maybe a lot of field goals, at least for Florida's side. And it's going to be hard to get over 57 points. The end.
Would you take the points with Florida if it's at 22? If you had to take a side there?
No.
You would lay
I
the points.
don't want to touch the total. It feels the spread. It
seems like 22 is about right. It seems like 22 is about right.
It feels like Florida.
Seems like they could win 22-0. It seems like they could win 21-0. It seems like they could win 28-0. I wouldn't. It could be 35-7, but they're not getting to 57.
I agree, but
I'm with Al on this. I'm with Al on this one. I didn't bet it yet because I've followed you guys on too many of these other unders, like the next one. Because Illinois gives up.
I just didn't know if Al had a feeling on this game. It seemed like he had some good analysis there. So.
No, I feel like the spread's somewhere. It's going to be. Yeah, I would probably, if I had gun to my head and I had to pick a side, I'd probably take the points with the Gators, but I wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah.
I don't have a play on this, but I do just want to add, I think Georgia's offense is better than people think. People think of Georgia as being this defensive juggernaut that can't put up points. They've put up points this year. Now, granted, they haven't really played anybody, but they are putting up points. So I would be a little bit hesitant because I think people just think of Georgia as all defense, no offense, and I think they're better than that. But,
Florida's defense is boo-boo. They're not very good either. They can cram that giant man who looks like a Jell-O statue, 450 pounds at the defensive tackle. I don't give a damn. They're not very good. I'm not impressed with Florida's defense at all.
Yeah.
And I think Georgia's going to score. But I don't think they'll probably. I think you're probably right with the under 57.
You want to take us to the next one, Matt?
And then for number 4, what you got?
Illinois, Nebraska. Let's make it quick. Nebraska, okay on offense, not terrible on defense. Illinois, great on defense, okay on offense. 50.5 points. Seems like too many points. We're going under 50.5. Seems like a pretty structured play. That's all.
No, I'm on this one too, Matto. Illinois gives up like less than 10 points a game. They don't score more than like 20 points a game, and I feel like they're going to dictate this game. So, what do they score? Like 25 a game or something, maybe?
They've been putting up in the 30s sometimes, but
okay.
even then, I think their defense, even if they put up in the 30s, I think their defense holds Nebraska low enough that could still go under.
Well, even if they put up in the 30s and they hold them in the 10s, that's under 50.5. So, and I think they dictate this game. So,
from your lips to God's ears.
Next one, Wake Forest. Wake Forest has a very good quarterback. Louisville has a decent quarterback. I'm taking Wake Forest -4 because I like their quarterback better.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. This one feels kind of trappy. I don't know why this line isn't 14.
Because
Sam
Louisville
Hartman's
just
really
beat.
good.
Who did Louisville just beat last week? It was somebody they
Louisville's-
shouldn't have.
Pitt.
Louisville's a roller coaster ride. They lose to
Yeah.
Boston College, and then they beat teams. That's the ACC, baby.
It is. They've been so ACC this year.
Yeah.
Let me
So
let me tell you why. Real quick. Sorry.
being crappy, and also that if Danny's also on it, I don't feel great. But yeah, lay the
They
four.
beat Pitt last week,
Lay the four with
24-10. They beat Pitt last week,
Oh,
24-10, and it was like a really
Oh,
easy. It was like an easy win.
Backhouse fumble return touchdown.
Yeah.
But Wake,
And they rolled Virginia, but then they lose to Boston College, and they roll USF, but they play FSU really close. Like Louisville's an enigma,
They're a puzzle.
yeah.
but they're gonna lose this week. Wake's gonna Sam Howell's gonna tear them apart.
So that
I
takes
hope
us to
All right.
last game of the 3:30 window, and Andy has a play in the highlight of that window. OK State at Kansas State, going to Manhattan. What do you got?
Yeah, we got another ranked matchup here, 9 going into 22. I kind of like Oklahoma State here, but I'm worried about a letdown spot after that win at Texas last week. So instead, I'm going to focus on the total. I like the under here. I got it under 58. It's under 56.5. I would still take it down to 56. It feels weird taking Big 12 unders, especially on a total that's below 60. But this isn't your grandpa's Big 12, and I actually think the defenses are the stronger units here. It's probably not going to be fun. I think they'll sniff this total. And there's a chance we've already lost this bet by halftime, but I do think there's value. So I'm going to take the under 56.5.
Yeah, this is going to be a sweaty number because
It is.
I'm confused by the line too. Kansas State being the favorite. I know they're playing at home, but I feel like Vegas knows something I don't here. And look, Kansas State's good as well, but Oklahoma State's coming off a really big win against Texas. They covered the spread, which is cool. And they made Quinn Ewers look bad. He looked awful the other day. I think he completed 40% of his passes. He had like 12 overthrows. Picked him
like
8 times. I know. He's young, right? He's going to be great next year. He'll win the Heisman. But Oklahoma State looks good. This is going to be a sweaty one, buddy, because OK State can score too. And Adrian Martinez running that Kansas State offense is fun. It's a good game.
Yeah, is he actually good now? Now that he
I don't know.
Nebraska and Scott Frost, like he kind of seems like he might be good.
I don't think he's bad. I don't
They
think he's bad.
They
It's a good
interviewed him
3:30
on-
window, though. It's a good 3:30 window, man. That Wake Louisville game, the Florida Georgia game, Northwestern Iowa. We got that low under to watch. I got Temple Navy under. If the Northwestern Iowa under fails me, I got the Temple Navy under right there with it. It's a good 3:30 window, and this is probably the best actual game, at least as far as like ranked teams. But the game I'm probably going to have on the TV, I don't have a play on right now, which is UCF Cincinnati, because I think that's going to be the highest scoring one. I'll probably have the over in that game at some point, but I haven't put it in its play. Good 3:30 window.
Yeah.
Somebody got a play on South Carolina. Al, is that you with the play on South Carolina, Missouri?
Yeah.
That's a terrible SEC matchup.
Yeah, I've been against.
They moved
South
it off the
Carolina.
3:30 window. Just
Yeah, I've been against South Carolina, particularly Spencer Rattler, all season. I do not want him just in general, but this is much fading Missouri as it is
beat Jimbo last
having
week.
confidence. Yeah, as it is just having confidence that the Spencer South Carolina squad can score more points than Missouri. So I'll lay the 4.5. And they're at home, so yeah. That's it.
Good enough.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Let's take it into the evening prime time window and start off with an absolute banger. We got UAB going to Florida Atlantic. Can't contain my excitement. Matt, why don't you tell us what you got on that one?
UAB is good. FAU is still coached by Willie Taggart.
Nicosi Perry's still coming back, although he's been good.
I think UAB is probably more than one score better. I think they've been substantial all year, got a pretty good defense, got a pretty good offense. They're actually a pretty good team, right? Conference be damned. So FAU's been fine this year, but I don't think they can play with UAB. So I'm laying the 5 points here.
FAU's only win in their last 5 is against Rice, and I think that says it all. UAB has been pretty good. I mean, they rolled Middle Tennessee, but doesn't everybody roll Middle Tennessee?
Everybody worth a damn.
They beat
Right.
Charlotte. They did lose to Rice, but Rice sucks, so that's a tough game. And then they lost to Western Kentucky. But it's a conference matchup. UAB's on the road. I just think UAB is the stronger team here. I think that Taggart sucks.
So I was looking at these numbers on Sunday night, last night, and it opened at Florida Atlantic +8, and I was leaning towards that. But I didn't place the bet, and when I looked at it again today, the number had gone from 8 to 5, and I would definitely be with you guys on the 5 at that number.
So
Danny?
This is probably the ugliest play of the week. I hate it. But it's a road team getting a ton of points with the totals 43, and they're getting 27.5 points. So, like, if they accidentally fall into the end zone one time, they're going to cover the 27.5. So, it's Colorado State versus Boise State. Boise State's really had a rough year, man, and Colorado State just has been the worst team in college football. So, Colorado State's covering hasn't been as bad the last 2 weeks. I think they covered one of the last 2 weeks, and Boise State has just been like atrocious this year. So I'm gonna take that 27.5 on the tiny total, and I'm gonna see if they can make 4 touchdowns on under 43.5. They think it's gonna be a shutout.
Yeah, you need Colorado State to score 8 points.
Yep.
To basically. Based on
if the total stays around 43, I need them to score 1 touchdown. Right? If the total hits the under, I need them to score 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
So
Danny,
I've been doing. Oh, go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to jump on this with Danny. I had this on my card. It hit the cutting room floor. I couldn't quite get myself to pull the trigger, but I'm just so proud of Danny saying it's too many points.
It's too many points.
I have
it's
to
way
jump
too
on it
many
with you.
points.
So I'm officially putting it on my card. Colorado State plus the 27.5. And then Matt, go ahead. I know you have a play here too.
Yeah, so this is just a structured play. For the last 3 weeks, I've taken the under in Colorado State games. They've all been in the high 40s. Each game, total score 31, 30, and 30. Why would we think the fun will stop here? Right? The number is at 43.
And they're giving the other team 28 points. They only need a field goal.
So I've done this 3 weeks in a row.
Safety, and they cover.
It'll probably fail me now, but let's go. Under 43. Boise State's probably the best competition Colorado State has played to this point because those were Nevada, Utah State, and Hawaii. But that means there's less likely for them to score. I think the under is all day. We got it all day. I'm scared of Boise State possibly getting.
Don't let the name fool you, man. Don't let the name fool you. Boise State might be as bad as Utah State and Hawaii.
I'm setting an alarm. I'm setting a reminder on my phone. 10 p.m. Saturday. I'm going to check that score. And when Colorado State's still got a big goose egg up there, I'm going to be like, "Hey guys, you starting to sweat this at all, or are you still feeling good about it?"
It's going to be 21-0 in the fourth. In the 21-0 in the fourth. Boise's going to have the ball driving, and I'm going to love watching it. But you know what game I'm actually going to have on the TV during this window? It's going to be USC Arizona because I have the over in this game. And it's just going to be point, touchdown. And I love it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to
You're taking the over?
Over. It's like 75 points, 77 points. I don't care. I'll take it at 80. I'll take it at 90.
Easy now. Andy, what you got? Are you with him on this?
I am. The USC offense versus the Arizona defense is literally a top 10 against bottom 10 matchup. USC is going to score a ton of points. We need 11 touchdowns here. I see USC getting 7, 8, 9 easily, and Arizona needs to get a couple. And Arizona offense is not going to be confused for USC's anytime soon, but they're quietly top 40 in offense, and USC is bottom 40 in defense. So asking them to get 2 or 3 touchdowns here is not out of the question. The number is high, but I think they'll both score, and I think we get there.
This game could easily be 65-21. Easily.
What is it you're always saying on the podcast?
That's too many points?
Yeah, okay.
Are you locking it up? Are you locking it up?
Very cautious of USC's running back. They've been really leaning on him all year. And if they start to run the ball, Dye can get you 15, 20 yards of carry, and they can still kill you that way. With that being said, look, my play is going to counteract what I just said. I'm going to lay the points with USC here. I think USC is 15.5 points better than Arizona, even at Arizona. Look, Arizona's gotten a lot better. This was a 1-11 team last year. They've got 4 wins this year. It's been an amazing year for the boys out of Tucson. But give me 15.5 with USC all day.
Wow.
They're going to cover that 15.5. They're going to cover that 15.5.
I almost played that as well, but
that was my Keanu Reeves impression. Wildcat. He calls him Wildcat.
All right, let's go to Marshall, which I think's in West Virginia. Coastal Carolina's coming in. Al, what you got?
That's me. I'm gonna flip flop on Coastal. It hurts me to do. It hurts me to do. But
I thought you were saying you're gonna flip your pick right now to Coastal.
No. I'm gonna stick with my guns here. I'm gonna take Marshall -2. Coastal's been very, very good to me over the years, and even this season, I've done pretty well with them. But I think Marshall's better than Coastal, and I think that the -2 isn't enough. I think that's not enough. I think they're better than them by more than a touchdown. So I'm going to lay the 2.
If I had to play it, I would probably lay the points as well, Dano. Marshall has a 5-star running back. Did you know that? Kalen Laborn from Florida State originally. But he has been great at Marshall this year. I think he's averaging like a touchdown and a half every game he's been in. He's been very dominant on their rushing attack. And, I mean, they've been okay. They haven't been bad. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think this is going to be more entertaining to watch than people think. I'd rather watch this than Colorado State, Boise State. That's for sure.
Not watching Colorado State, Boise State. That's just for the money.
I'm going to take this to Rocky Top. Look, last time everyone saw Tennessee, they were carrying goalposts. Everyone was ejaculating everywhere.
Their fans were getting punched in the face by wide receivers.
Women were getting punched in the face by wide receivers.
Digging up turf.
It's too many points, man. Too many points. Kentucky's going to make this game sloppy. They're going to make it weird. I've made the Will Levis joke already, right? Washed and distressed. It's a perfect name for Levi's. But they can keep games close. Stoops is really good at making games really weird and really sloppy when you don't expect them. And I also am just looking for an opportunity to fade Tennessee at their first opportunity of playing a real competition after a big win. So give me Kentucky plus 12.5. Everyone else is going to be laying the points here. It's not the right play.
So this feels like that game that Tennessee loses normally, right? But
trappy.
Is this Tennessee team is Texas back? Is Miami back? Is Tennessee back? They used to be in that kind of like conversation for a while, and then they were just bad for a long time, and then they actually hired the right coach. It seems like. So are they actually gonna be back? And I personally think they are. I think that they got the right coach, and I think they're going to win this game. I just don't know if they're going to do it by 2 touchdowns. So I'm not going to bet this because I think that the 12.5 is just right there or right at the right number. So that's why I'm not going to bet it.
Matt, this feels like the kind of game I make fun of you for betting, and then it hits, and I'm like, I shouldn't have made fun of you. I'm sorry. So I'll just skip to making fun of you and just note that.
And you can text me at 10:30 when there's 50 points in Colorado State, Boise State, and Tennessee's up by 100. But look, Kentucky's got a good defense. Tennessee's a wagon, and this could blow me out really quick, right? I could be down and just out, but it feels like the right structured play.
This game could easily be lost in the first half for you, but it also could not. It also could not. Like Tennessee could show up and just be like, "Wow, okay,
yeah, they're going to win." This could look really smart for 3 quarters, and then it ends up not being close, and you're like, "Well, fuck, I think I was on the right side. It just didn't hit."
Yeah, it's a dangerous one, but I like to live dangerously, and I love to fade teams on the first game back after a big win. Right? They played Tennessee Martin last week. That shit doesn't count. This is their first game, and Kentucky's undervalued in this spot. I think it's
UTM out here catching strays, man.
Andy, I gotta ask you, why Baylor over Texas Tech? Because I think Texas Tech's better than Baylor, but I didn't bet this because I thought that it's a close number. I would have got somewhere between 3 and 7. If it was over a touchdown, I probably would have taken the Baylor line, but 2.5 didn't seem like enough points.
It's not it's not a big advantage by my numbers, but I have Baylor rated slightly better. So once you factor in the home field, I think it should be around a pick. So I'll take the 2.5. I actually think this goes to 3, so I think you should watch it. And if it gets to 3, hit it, but hit it quickly, because I don't think the 3 will stay around long. I think people will hit the 3 and it'll come back to 2.5. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it goes the other direction, but that's what I think will happen. And I don't show a ton of value. Like I said, I show it as a pick, and I'm only getting 2.5, but it's a little bit of value and a game that is mildly interesting. So I'll take a shot.
Seems hard to pick. Seems hard to pick against Texas Tech, but then again, Texas Tech, like we said earlier, they are 4-3. They're not 7-0. So they're prone to lose games like this.
Their losses are to the Big 12 teams that are having good years, like Kansas State and I think it was Oregon State. But yeah, their losses are to teams that are having pretty good seasons, or TCU. So their losses are to teams that are having good seasons. So I feel like Texas Tech is probably the better team here. But if Andy feels like Baylor's better, then I see why he's going to take the 2.5.
Danny, that's why take us to this 4-corner special you got 7:30.
Oh, this is just This is just to balance out the 27.5 that I'm taking with Colorado State. I needed to lay the 13 with Arizona State against Colorado. It didn't feel right to not lay these points if I was going to take the points with Colorado State. That's the only reason I bet this game. I have no other analysis. I don't think Arizona State's good. I know we fired Herm Edwards earlier in the season. I know nothing else about them since then. But I was betting on Colorado State, so I had to fade Colorado. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
This will shock no one, but I had the other side of this, taking the 13 points on the cutting room floor. But I didn't have the balls to take it, so
good. Leave it
you
there.
did. All right, let's keep things rolling. An 8 p.m. game. We've got Pitt going into North Carolina. I'm taking the Pitt plus the points. It's 3.5. This is the second time this season that North Carolina is going to play against a defense that is ranked in the top 20 in efficiency. And you know what happened last time? They lost to Notre Dame. That is their one loss of the season. A good defense can shut down this team, because if North Carolina can't score 60, they have no answer for you on defense. So Pitt should be able to slow down North Carolina's offense, and Pitt's offense hasn't been lighting the world on fire, but they should be more than capable of putting up a few points on North Carolina's terrible defense. So I'm taking Pitt plus 3.5.
So I'm the next play is I'm taking the under Middle Tennessee versus UTEP, and that's mostly because I think Middle Tennessee is trash, and people are still thinking that they are better than they are because they scored a bunch of points against Miami. And they haven't really done much since then, and people are still seeing that on the board and betting on them. I almost faded them also, but decided against it and decided to play the under instead, because both of these teams are pretty bad at offense, and 52 seemed like a high number. Also, nice. UTEP's defense is decent.
Nice. We uncharacteristically don't have any plays on the late night games. That's the last game we have a play for, and that's a 9 p.m. game. Does anybody want to take a flyer on any of the late night games, or maybe we'll put it out on TikTok?
I know Matt was considering something.
Yeah, I was thinking about Wyoming laying the points there. It feels like a lot of points, so I'm a little nervous about it. And let me take a step back. Wyoming's going to Hawaii, right? It's the classic chase. Everyone always bets Hawaii. This Hawaii team is boo-boo. Like I said in the earlier section, they're not good. This is not the team you want to bet. I also think the boys from Laramie aren't bad. They're not great, but they're not bad either. And I think they're clearly better than Hawaii. Andy, I don't know if you have a thought on that game.
My number said to take Hawaii plus the 10.5. But again, I didn't have the balls to play it. So I don't know. I don't have enough of a lean either way.
I like San Jose.
I was on the under in that one. I think I was on the under in that one. Let me look. I didn't.
San Jose State would be one I might look at if I'm having a good day. Might lay the points with them. I think it's somewhere between 22 and 23 right now.
All right, let's go back and get our ChuggieBets. Matt or Danny, can one of you get the random number generator going?
I got it already pulled up. We got the game ready. It's exciting, but we can go do the ChuggieBets first.
Perfect. So my ChuggieBet is going to be my very first pick of the evening. That Thursday night game, Louisiana getting a point against Southern Miss. That's going to be my ChuggieBet. Al, what do you got for your ChuggieBet?
I think I'm going to make mine Virginia Tech plus 14.
So 2 Thursday nighters there.
Yeah. Lock those in. Why don't you guys, listen, we're pretty good at at nailing our ChuggieBets, pretty good at nailing these picks in general. We should probably just parlay those two together and then just like bankroll our weekend with it.
Nice. What about a money line parlay? Virginia taking a
Ooh.
win? No. All right, Danny, what's your Chuggy bet?
I'm going to do Colorado State.
Love it.
Oh, you like to
man.
live dangerously,
man.
dude.
27.5 points.
Love it.
So
Matt,
many
what do you
points.
got,
Do I
Matt?
want to live dangerously just so Al can have the benefit of? No, I'm gonna take the under 50.5 in Illinois, Nebraska,
That was my other one I was thinking about. I like that one a lot.
because I wanted to do Kentucky, so Al could just be like, "What are you doing?"
I left that one because I tailed you on that pick. I wanted to leave it open for you, so I'm glad you took it.
All right, boys. The random game generator has been pulled. We're moving to the 3-3 window. Old Dominion is going into Georgia State. This is actually going to be a tough game to choose because I don't have a lean here. I think the spread is like 3 or 4. Let me get numbers up and figure out.
The over is at 55.5.
3.5.
It's at 3.5.
3.5, and total's 55.5.
This one was on the cutting room floor for me, so I almost had to play on it. So this is actually easy for me. Before I say this, though, I will say I am the only person here who has not won a random generator bet yet. I am 0-4. Is it 3 or 4? However many weeks we've been doing this.
I think 3.
I'm a big 0-4. I think everybody else has won at least 2. So you should probably fade me here. But the pick that I had that I almost made my card was Georgia State laying the 3.5. Which I actually like that I'm taking this now because I did not have a single pick this week where I was taking the favorite. So now I have at least one where I'm laying the points. I'm taking Georgia State.
And also, just to add on to that, Andy, it's really remarkable that you haven't hit on one of these because you've been so good at nailing your picks, just in general, that you
really.
at least be like even. But
I appreciate that.
fun.
The way I make it myself feel better about it is that I am wringing all the value out of this card. And if I left something off the card, there's no value there. And you're making me pick it. So, like, all right, who else has got their
I don't know what to
generator?
do here.
55 is a weird number. It's right on the money, but I'm going to play the total, and I guess I'm going to go over because it'll be more fun.
Man, Georgia State and Old Dominion, huh? I'm going to join you on the total, Dano. I think it's the right play.
What are you guys taking the over?
55.
Yeah, over 55. I just don't want to lay the points with a 2-5 Georgia State team.
It actually seems really smart to take the over because I'm looking at the totals here, and both sides are typically hitting over 50. But I thought Andy's sneak play was going to be taking Old Dominion, and I was like, I don't think I like Old Dominion, so I'm just going to fade Andy here, and I will take Old Dominion plus. I think there's a 4 out there if you want to consider.
You are a
4.
smart man, Al. You are a very smart man.
Al's in it today. He's in to spice things up. I like it.
Yep, that is probably the good pick based on how things have been going. So, all right. Well, thank you, everyone.
This line's moved around a little bit, so it's been 4. It's down to 3.5. The total was at 56, went up to 56.5, and it just jumped down to 55.5. So, I like that. I like the over pick.
Yeah,
should be fun either way. We can make fun of me when I go 0-4 on our random generator picks. Thank you so much to everyone who stuck around for an hour and 15 minutes with us here talking college football. We had a lot of fun.
You never gave out your Chuggy bet.
You did. You gave it to Al.
I gave it to Al earlier.
Gave it to Al. Okay.
We had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. We'll put out some last minute plays on TikTok. Probably we'll be chasing some stuff late night, Saturday night. So if you want some chasers, I'm sure the guys will put out some college or some soccer picks this week. So follow us on TikTok for all that.
Follow me on Action if you want my soccer plays. I got a bunch for tomorrow.
What's your name on Action?
Danny_ChuggieBets, I think. I don't know. I'll have to give that out another time.
Sweet.
Listen to the end of the NFL podcast for that.
Listen to the end of the NFL. No, I'm gonna have to change it. Sorry, I don't want to get that.
Yeah, it is Danny ChuggieBets.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night, Joey.
Good night, Joe.